Yeah, we're doing meatballs, and a homemade spaghetti sauce as well, which is actually what we're going to be starting on here. Need to open this. All right, spaghetti sauce. Got ourselves a big old pan. Okay. We're going to be adding 4 28-ounce cans of whole tomatoes, and we're going to keep it with the juice as well. So we're going to add in the juice. It's important to remember to keep the juice that comes in the can with it, because some recipes, depending on what you're making, they don't want you to do that. This one we are. Now it's going to be a lot of sauce, but the good thing about this is that it'll stay good for up to a couple months when you refrigerate it. And then you don't need to really buy any more tomato sauce, or spaghetti sauce in this case. All right. Go ahead and throw our cans away. Now, because we're live streaming this, we're doing it a little bit differently than the recipes that I'm using, what it calls for. So we're gonna just kind of just winging it at this point. So I'm gonna grab, I need this real quick. All right, so we're gonna get a potato masher, and we're gonna kind of start crushing our tomatoes to the best of our ability, just to kind of get them a little bit softer and everything. Just to initially crush them. Eventually, when this recipe is completed, you put this in a food processor and you're gonna blend it. So when you do that, it'll you don't have to worry about it being like too chunky. Ren, the beginning of that, I don't know what you said because I don't speak. Can you cook the famous recipe from? Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna say that because I don't know what that means. And for all I know, you're telling me to say something in another language that isn't right.
Why do people want me to do that?
I don't know. People get bored, and so they're like, oh, let's go troll people on the internet, which is fine. I hope it makes whatever situation you're going through better. So we're just going to keep on working our potato masher in here, so that way we can get our tomatoes to the right consistency.
Sorry, I'm not joining you. I'm just tired now.
That's fine. And what I'm feeling for is as I bring my potato masher down onto the tomatoes, I'm feeling to make sure that there's no hard chunks or anything like that. That lets me know that they're the consistency that I want them. All right, that feels good to me. I think that's ready to get prepped. All right, so this is the consistency that we're looking for. So that's what the base of our sauce is going to look like. All right, now we're going to add our accent ingredients. So we'll start with salt, because you always need salt when you're cooking. So we're just going to we'll do 2 pinches of salt. Of course, if you have salt, then you need pepper as well. Got our pepper. It's a storyboard skill. I don't know what that is. How's it looking? It's looking good, man. Now we'll do some oregano. I like oregano, so I go a little bit heavy-handed on it. Do thyme.
Babe, what time is it?
9:39. And bay leaves. So remember that if you're adding bay leaves to your recipe, don't forget to remove them. And we're gonna do 2, so you just kind of throw those in there. Come on, I want this one. All right, 2 bay leaves. Next thing we'll do, we're just gonna add some more fresh parsley. And then we're gonna use our basil paste, and we're gonna use a good amount of that because basil is amazing. All right. So we're also gonna be adding some tomato paste in it as well. It gives it more of a better tomato flavor and stuff because it's concentrated. And we just kind of do that, call it 2 tablespoons of it is what I think we're doing here. Okay. Get good old-fashioned wooden spoon. And we'll just go ahead and do an initial stir on it. So we can combine all of our ingredients. There's gonna be more ingredients in this, but how we prep those are gonna be a little bit different. This is just kind of the base of our sauce. All right, let's put that over here. And I'm actually gonna add one more thing. I'm gonna also add some rosemary to this as well. Stir that in. Okay. And now with all of our ingredients that we put in the sauce mixed, that's what it's gonna look like. So that's the base of our sauce. Okay, so we'll set this aside for right now. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is we need to saute our onions and our garlic. So I'm going to figure out where I can set this up at. Things that we didn't prepare for. Maybe I can do it like up here on top of my fridge.
Or put it on like below.
Sorry, guys. Okay, so watch out.
Or hold it, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that'll work. All right. So we're moving over to the stove now. So grab some olive oil. All right, so we're gonna add some olive oil to our pan that we're gonna be sauteing in. And we want a good amount of olive oil in here because the olive oil is gonna be going into our sauce. And since we're cooking the garlic and the onion in it, it's gonna infuse the olive oil, which then in turn is gonna go in the sauce. So you're gonna really get that flavor come through. So we're gonna do about 12 cloves of garlic for the sauce. Oops, that's 6, we need 6 more. Okay, go ahead and turn on our stove. Start heating that up. We're gonna add in our onion from earlier. And how much onion you want in your sauce is completely up to you. If you really, really like that onion flavor, then obviously do more. Or if you don't like onion at all, then don't put any onion in it. So when we saute this, we want to make sure what we're going for is we're going for a brown, not for like a burnt or anything like that. If you notice that it starts burning, you can just turn down your heat or remove it from heat, and you can still save it, kind of thing. So this is what it's gonna look like so far in pan. So we have our garlic, our olive oil, and our onion. Fantastic. Go ahead and turn on our light there. And it's already starting to sizzle. So I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit just to make sure that we don't burn it. And if we accidentally burn it on stream, I have more garlic, I have more onion, everything can be replaced. So in this, you want to make sure that you stir occasionally, just so you can get your garlic covered in that olive oil. Because remember, we're doing this to really infuse the olive oil because it's all going into our sauce. I'm going to turn down just a little bit more. There are few smells in the world that smell better than sauteing onions and garlic. So one rookie mistake that I made here is I should have added in the garlic first by itself, and once that was getting close to brown, then added in my onion, because the pieces of onion are actually a lot smaller, so now they're gonna saute faster.
But onions burn really
Yeah.
That wasn't really for the easy to do because normally you add garlic.
So I'm continuing to bring my heat down and then just constantly moving it so that way it doesn't burn or anything, which it doesn't look like it's going to. And just for good measure, we're gonna throw some salt in. So the reason why I'm adding salt in this is because what salt does generally is salt draws moisture out. And in this case, the moisture is gonna be the juice of the garlic and of the onion, which is gonna infuse the olive oil even more. And it's smelling really good, it's looking really good. I'll show you where we're at. Show the food okay. Spicy. That's our onion and our garlic sauteing in olive oil. This is our sauce waiting to have the onion and garlic added. And then our meatballs are in the fridge, and those are our meatballs. Ah, my chat disappeared. There we go. What are the chunks is cloves of garlic. And we're using the whole clove in this case. Because ultimately, like I was saying, ultimately the goal is for the garlic and the onion to infuse the oil. And you'll get the most flavor out of that from using the whole clove. Whereas when you kind of dice or mince the garlic, then there may be some parts of the sauce that have more garlic in it, so it may be overpowering. Whereas with this, I know that there's going to be 12 cloves of garlic in my sauce, and since they're bigger, I can avoid them or just remove them from the sauce. So our garlic is browning. It's starting to look really, really nice. Okay. And I really like rosemary, so I'm gonna add some to this mixture. Not a whole lot, but just to further infuse that oil. That smells fantastic. Oh God, what's up, Camden? We're cooking with Chef Gerke today. Show you what we got so far. So we have some onions and garlic and rosemary and olive oil sauteing. We have our spaghetti sauce waiting to have all of that added. And we have our meatballs chilling in the fridge. Not a dark side chef? What are you talking about, dude? He's saying Darth Vader would never want like some spaghetti and meatballs or something? I'm sure he'd be all over that. Okay, so the last thing we're gonna add is we're gonna add some crushed pepper flakes into the mix. And you add the amount of spice that you want. So if you want really spicy, obviously add more. If you want less spicy, or not spicy at all, then you can not add them. I did probably about a teaspoon worth. And we're gonna let that mix into our olive oil mixture. And this is getting pretty close to being complete. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move our big old pot of sauce over here, so that way I can just pick this up and pour it right in. Okay. So this is what the final product or saute is going to look like. And now what we're going to do is we're going to turn off my heat first. I'm going to take this, we're just going to add it straight in there. Getting as much of it in there as we can. We'll go ahead and bring this over to my sink. I can't switch the cameras right now, obviously. Okay. There's that. We got our pot of sauce, and now we're gonna stir it in. Dark side chef, dark side meal, dark side. Yep. Everything's dark side here, bro. So we're just gonna go ahead and stir all this in. And while we cook it, some of the juice and some of the oil is gonna burn off. So if it looks a little bit oily to begin with, because all the oil is floating to the surface, it's okay because it will burn off. So just mix it all together. Okay. And now what we are going to do is we're going to turn on our heat. And we want to bring this to a simmer, which is basically a steady boil, but a little bit below that. So yeah, all right. While we do that, we're gonna grab the same pan that we sauteed our stuff in. I'm gonna recoat the leftover oil, recoat that. And once this is starting to get to the simmer that we want, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna brown our meatballs in this, and then we're gonna put them in the sauce and let them cook. Doing that will allow the meatballs to absorb the flavor of the sauce, and then the fat content that's in our pork and in our meat will flavor the sauce even more. Fat is always good. Turkey full form. I love cooking, guys. This is my full form. You get to be creative with it. Once you start getting good at it, it's so much more fun. You can follow recipes like less and less, and you can just really put your own twist onto it and stuff. It's a lot of fun.
Try making gumbo though.
Try making gumbo, that'd be like a 10-hour stream. All right, so I'm gonna check on my meatballs right now to make sure that they're set properly and that they're chilled. All right, so they are chilled. I don't obviously want to take them out because then they'll become room temperature again, and I don't want that. I want to bring them straight from the cold into a hot pan. Now, since this is a quite a large pot of sauce, then it's going to take a little while for it to get to the temperature that we're going to need.
It smells good.
Yeah. I wish there was smell vision or a smell cam on stream so you guys could smell how good this really smells. Smell.
Smelly smell.
No, dude. I like my balls to be cold all the time, not room temperature. All right, so we can see on here, you should start seeing bubbles. I see them, but I don't know if you can see it on stream. You can see it kind of popping and stuff. That means we're starting to get to a boil. Try to fix that. So we'll go ahead and give it another stir. Your ball's okay? I guess so, man. I should have known if I was gonna do meatballs on stream that the amount of ball jokes were gonna be higher than normal. I can see the bubble, yikes. No, we want the bubbles. That just means that it's getting to the temperature that we're gonna want it to be at. Because we wanna get it to a boil first, and then slowly turn down the heat until we're at the simmer level. And if you don't know what a simmer is, once I get there, I will make sure to show you, so you can see what I'm talking about. It's a waiting game now. Appreciate you guys stopping by the stream and everything. A little bit different from video games and stuff, but I figure if you can stream and I like cooking, then why not combine the two? It's always good to add a little bit of variety to your channel and everything. So I'm going to turn up my heat a little bit so that we can get it to that temperature faster. Yeah, now it's bubbling. So I'm waiting for it to get to a simmer before I show you guys. There we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is the best part cooking. And that is always taste your food. So it's not hot yet. But it's tasting really nice. We just gotta wait for it to get hotter, and the longer you cook the sauce, the better, because it gives the flavors more time to kind of mesh together. So I'm actually gonna really turn up my heat now. Need some more salt in it though. Yep. And we can kind of see tiny little bubbles on the surface. That's the oil heating up. It looks delicious. Yeah, it tastes delicious too.
If they like it, we could do a couples one if they want to request what we make.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea. Mrs. Gergie said that if we like the cooking streams, if the viewers like it, then her and I will do a couples stream of cooking, and we will make what the viewers request.
But we're gonna do it during the day.
Okay, now we're getting to the level where we want it. I'll show you. So you can see the bubbles coming up there, and then when you look at the sides, come on, focus camera. You can see that the sides of it are also bubbling in it now. That's what we want to see, and now it's about finding the right temperature. So we obviously don't want to keep it this high. We want to slowly lower the heat until we get that constant bubble, but it's not constantly getting hotter, essentially. Go ahead and do a little quick mix, get my flavors going around. So good. Tastes really, really fresh. It's still not evenly hot across. Are you going to add sugar? I was actually just thinking as I tasted it to maybe add a little bit of sugar. If I was using fresh tomatoes, then I wouldn't really need to, but since I use canned whole tomatoes, the acidity of that, you can taste it pretty good right now, so I'm gonna probably grab some if I have it and just pinch it on in there. I don't want it to be too sweet though.
I don't know if we have any because of making cookies.
Yeah, that's fine. So we don't have any sugar right now, but it's okay because as it cooks, it may actually get a little bit sweeter. The longer you cook it, some of that acidity is going to burn off. And obviously it's taking a long time to get to that temperature that we want because it's such a large amount of sauce. Thanks, T, I appreciate it. So now we're getting even closer to where we want to be. I'll go ahead and show you. So now we got that constant bubble on the side. We got the bubbles up top. Try honey. I'm gonna see if the acidity cooks off. If by the time it's done, if it's too acidic, then I can always add a sweetener in at the last second to cut that acidity. But all right. So this is pretty much the temperature I want. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna brown the meatballs. It's only 37 degrees Fahrenheit outside. Yeah, no thanks. That's way too cold. All right, so we have our meatballs. Go ahead and show. So our meatballs, they've been chilling in the refrigerator now, so they formed up really nice. Go ahead and put them over here. Get a good shot of that. All right. Put my camera back on my box. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna heat this up again. And remember, I'm using the leftover olive oil that's infused with our garlic, red chili flakes, and onion to brown the meatballs in. And any type of juice or fat that gets in this pan, you want to save, and we're going to add that to the sauce when all the meatballs are browned. Our sauce is at a really, really good temperature right now. Now that it's hot, we'll try and taste it. It's perfect, honestly. That's really good. And it's not too acidic, which is great. And I think it's because the amount of herbs that we use in it, you really get the herb flavor out of it more than the acidity of the tomatoes. So I need to get some. So we're gonna get some tongs. So that way when we start browning the meatballs, it's easier for us to turn them. So we just start putting them on in there.
It smells so good.
Thanks. Now I'm going to do 4 at a time. For the first batch, I'm going to do 4 at a time, just so I can get the timing down and everything like that. And then as I get more comfortable with it, I can add more. But you also don't want to overcrowd your pan, because then you'll lose heat. So our sauce is at a really nice simmer right now. I'll go ahead and show you guys so you can see what a simmer exactly looks like. So we can just see we have that constant bubble going on. It's not boiling per se, it's just at a really nice temperature, and that's what we want. Make sure whenever you're cooking the meatballs, don't push down on them, obviously, because then they'll lose their shape. And when you push down on it, it's gonna the juice is gonna come out of it, and the juice is where all the flavor's at. So we don't want to do that. And once they're completely browned, you can go straight from the pan into the sauce. The meatballs are going to cook in our sauce. And since the sauce has to cook for a little bit, we don't need to get like a really, really deep brown on them. We can just do a light brown and it'll be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and flip them. Okay. So the first side's browned, and this is what it's going to look like. So they're browned. You can see that they have, especially that one right there, we got that nice little sear on there, and that's what we kind of want. This one, not so much, and this one, not so much, but it's okay because we can just flip those over again so we can get that nice sear on it. And the reason we want the sear is because the sear is going to give us, it's essentially the fat and any type of sugars that are inside of our mix. It's caramelizing that, which is going to give it really, really good flavor. What are you doing?
I was like trying not to be in it, but I think I wasn't.
What are you doing to the dog?
Oh, I was trying to see if I was in it, and I think I was like awkwardly standing there.
You want to try and get all sides of the meatball as well. I have to bring my chat back up. My bad. My dad said adding a pinch of Maverick.
Oh God. They saw me.
We also want to make sure that when we're doing this, you get all the sides. And also be careful not to burn yourself. But burning yourself and working in the kitchen, it goes hand in hand. It's not a matter of if it's going to happen, it's a matter of when. All right. So this one is done. And we just put that right in the sauce. This one. That one's done in the sauce. This one will do a little bit on the side. Then it goes into the sauce. You already burned your palm last week? How'd you do that, Will? Into the sauce. Just gotta get the last side on this one. Ow. Into the sauce. So, first batch of meatballs are done. Once you put them in the sauce, make sure you cover them as much as you can. What kind of pasta? We are doing good old-fashioned spaghetti.
How many people in there?
Fluctuating between 6 and 7. All right, so we'll add our next batch of meatballs in to brown. There we go. I'm actually going to add a little bit more oil to it to prevent any type of sticking. So we'll just do just a little bit, and then we'll take one and just kind of drag that oil around. All right, there we go. Yeah, we decided to just do the classic spaghetti and meatballs. So, which is a good thing because the store was basically out of all the pasta, it seemed. There was like none there. People are panic buying pasta now instead of toilet paper.
They've been doing that.
I put it on the stove and I saw that there was some stain on the stove, so I would wipe it off. I had my palm on it for 3-4 seconds. Oh no, Will. Oh yeah. That sear is absolutely gorgeous on these.
Yeah.
Got our sear. Before I forget, we want to take the remaining fresh Parmesan that we grated, and we want to add that into our sauce. And in case you forgot, it was a ½ a cup. How's the stream going tonight, Steve? Greg, how do you even get that confused, bro? And it's going good, Eddie. Thanks for stopping by. I got 180 bucks worth of Omaha steaks coming in. God, that sounds good. Where do you order them from? You know I love you, shut up. All right, you got me there. Okay, so we added our cheese in there. The cheese will just melt and it's gonna give the sauce a really, really good flavor. Go ahead and turn our meatballs. Try and get the size of them to get that nice sear going. Okay. Oh, you get them online? Okay. How are you gonna prepare them? You're just gonna do a classic grill on it? You're gonna do cast iron?
Maybe they can watch you smoke something.
Yeah, we could do that on stream. All right, I'll go ahead and show the... So this is what the meatballs are looking like as they get brown. You can see we got that really nice sear on there. That's definitely what you want. That's just concentrated flavor right there. This batch is done. We can go ahead and put them in our sauce. Alright, and once they're in there, make sure we do our best to get them covered or close to it. And remember, you're only browning the meatballs at this point. You're not trying to full on cook them because they're gonna cook in the sauce. Can do both, and I have a flat top also on the way. Nice, dude. Sounds like you're all set up to cook those Omaha steaks, man. I definitely prefer my steaks on with cast iron. I think the flavor that you get out of it is just it's so much better. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna add this last clove of garlic now into our olive oil, so that the flavor kind of gets in with the meatballs as we're browning them. So we'll go ahead and throw in another 4. Give our sauce a quick try. That was fantastic. That's what I love about Italian food. Is Italian food, when it's done right, it's so fresh and bright. And that's really the secret to Italian food, is that you don't overdo it. You keep it simple and you keep it fresh. As long as you follow those two things, then you'll always have good Italian food. So we're flipping them over now. Another beautiful sear on these. That's what we're going for. All right, Daddy Gert, good night. I will enjoy my balls for sure. Definitely get the char and cast iron. Flavor for cooking, yeah. There's nothing better than just getting that nice crust on a steak. Oh my gosh. That you get in cast iron, then you baste it in butter that's infused with garlic and thyme. Sign me up. Sign me up. Is your favorite cut of steak, is it Omaha, or do you have another cut that that's your favorite? All right, Will, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for being in the stream. Enjoy your sleep, man. I'm gonna get the sides of it now. Kind of roll them around a bit. All right, these ones are done. Drop them on in there. Get our sauce. Get them on in the sauce. Get these meatballs lost in the sauce. Okay. And just like that, we are on our last batch brown. Last batch is only 3. So we're gonna get these Nice in position. Something important to remember, guys, is that if you really want that nice sear crust on your meatballs, or even just on, like, if you're doing a steak in cast iron or in a nonstick, don't move it. Once you set it in there, just let it be. Don't press it, don't keep flipping it. If you get good enough at cooking steak, you should only need to flip it one time. You put it in the pan, you let it sear, flip it to the other side, let it sear, done. The less you touch it, the better it is. Look at Chef Kirky go with his viewers. Yeah, first cooking stream. Not a bad idea. I love cooking so much. Any steak is your favorite? Yeah, I feel you, man. Definitely feel you. Let's go ahead and flip these.
Is this your first time making meatballs? Or
No, I've made meatballs before.
yeah,
First time doing it with a mix, though. Hot and Sweaty. Thanks, buddy, for the 100 bits, man. Freaking love you, bro. I hope your stream has been going good as well, and that it's been everything that you can imagine.
tell Eddie I said hi.
And Mrs. Gurkey says hi. Sorry for calling you Steve. No, it's fine, man. You're good. Sometimes it do be like that. All right, our last batch is officially done. They've browned. They got a nice little sear on them. That one was really hot. All right, so if there's any type of juice or anything, oil left in your pan, you wanna get that in there. So I'm gonna scoop all these brown bits, because that's essentially just fat that came out of our meatballs when we were browning them. You want to get all that in there. Give it another quick mix. Some of the meatballs, it may be hard to get them submerged, especially in a crowded pot, but you can just kind of roll them around and try and find the gaps to get them fully submerged. Okay, and this is what they're gonna look like in your sauce. Just like that. Got our sauce at a nice simmer. Got the meatballs, you can kind of see a couple of them in there. And as far as how long do you keep the sauce on, it's all personal preference. Obviously, the longer the sauce goes for, the more your flavors are going to mesh together. If you're in a hurry, though, you could call it as soon as the meatballs are done. That's really the big thing, is when you're cooking the meatballs in the sauce, you want to make sure that they're completely cooked through, obviously. So we'll give this another taste. That tastes like magic. Oh my gosh. That is fantastic. Oops, sorry about that. First time streaming on my phone. Mike should notice streaming Animal Crossing to nearly 500 viewers. That's crazy.
500 years.
No, 500 viewers. So that's basically all there is to this. The last thing you would do is you would cook the spaghetti. That's pretty easy. That's just, you get boiling water, and after doing like a lot of research and just watching like chefs cook, pasta and everything like that, you don't want to put olive oil in your water that you boil it in, because the oil will get on your pasta and it will repel the sauce away from your pasta. And you don't want that. You want the sauce to kind of stick to it. And then you want the water to be really salty, like ocean water salt levels kind of thing. You just boil it. You're looking for that al dente texture where it's firm, but it's not crunchy and it's not mushy. So that's the texture that you go for. You boil it. When it's done, put it in your strainer, get all the